Geoff Thorpe of Vicious Rumors, how are you doing today?
Doing great, my friend.
Okay,
Good
excellent.
to see you.
Likewise. Tell me about the concept of the current tour. What are you focusing on?
Well, we're celebrating, our long history of heavy metal, man. Atlantic Records has just re-released the rights to Cherry Red to put this incredible box set together. And man, it's something I've always wanted to have after such a long career in Vicious Rumors, and to have all these three great albums we did with Carl Albert on one box set. It's pretty exciting. So, we put the offers out to do a tour playing classic songs from this box set, and the response was great, man. So what started to be about 2-3 weeks is now like over 48 shows all over the world, and still counting, still getting shows added.
Speaking of the box set, can you kind of show it and maybe unpack it? Tell us what's in there.
Oh, okay. Sure. Well, what you got here is, for those who know the band, they will instantly recognize the Blue album debut, Clouds, from the first album, 1990 album. And then they will also recognize the Red Sky from Welcome to the Ball. And so it's kind of a fusion, just to let you know what's going on, the Atlantic years. And then also, the very cool thing about this album, they just did an excellent job with the packaging. Those logos were all crazy, but when you take each CD out, you got like the cover of the album right there. So you got the Vicious Rumors album, the Welcome to the Ball album, and the very hard to find Plug In and Hang On live album in Japan. And that was really cool because it was only released in Japan originally. And so now people have a chance to get it. These albums were also remastered, and they did a fantastic job bringing out the quality of the production. Still has a great old school sound, and you can turn it up really loud. And then inside, I was part of the creative process of the box set, and we put together this booklet that's just super cool. It's got a bunch of old pictures from that time frame, and kind of the story of the band and what was happening during these particular years. So it just focuses on that. There's some cool photos, and there's like I said, I did a story for this particular release, and kind of celebrating some of the crazy things that happened from the first Atlantic album through Plug In and Hang On. So it's a great package, and essential for any VR fan and people that are just discovering Vicious Rumors. This would be an incredible way to just jump right into what we're all about. And the immortal Carl Albert on these albums was just incredible. And now we have another fantastic singer, Ronny Munroe. So we'll
get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we're getting ready to make some history.
How important were the Atlantic albums to the overall discography of Vicious Rumors?
Well, that was the initial chemistry of the band, with the five guys on those albums. So coming from the Shrapnel era into the Atlantic album, it was just like that was the chemistry, fusing together. So yeah, they were real highlights in our career, and we've had an incredibly long run with 17 official albums, and I don't think there's a bad one in the bunch, but those are some very good albums.
Now, 30-some years later, how are people responding to this material from the Atlantic albums?
Oh, it's been amazing. These first few shows have just been off the hook, and people just getting really excited about it and celebrating with us. And so it's been really great, especially after 3 years of downtime, man, with the plague kicking in and all that. So we're back on the road, and yeah, it's feeling really good.
Now that you're playing these songs night after night, any aha moments?
Anyway, I'm sorry.
Any aha moments? Like, are you discovering something new about this material?
Well, yeah, that kind of happened when I started going over it again. You know, when I first started, like, okay, we're going to play some songs we haven't played in, you know, many, many years. And so when I started going over that, I was like, oh man, that's cool. You know, like, you know, just so yeah, it's fun. And like I said, when you have a history as long as Vicious Rumors, it's a nice little benefit that you have, that you can go back and have some anniversaries and some celebrations of things of the past. But we know we're always about moving forward. We're already working on a new album.
And we get to that.
And it's on. It's on.
You are also introducing a new singer, Ronny Munroe, who used to be with Metal Church. How did you connect?
I know Ronny. I knew Ronny from 2002. We played at the Wacken Festival together, Vicious Rumors and Metal Church. So I met him there. And then we also met again in Vegas a few years later, and so knew about each other. And then just, you know, the timing was right. He heard we were looking for a singer and reached out to me, and I had talked to him about it years and years ago. So, man, it was just like, you know, the timing, the stars had to be in the right place, I guess, and so now was the time to do it.
What is Ronny bringing into the band?
You know, he brings a real classic element. He was a fan of Vicious Rumors also, and Carl Albert. So he already has the skill to sing in that kind of style. But not a lot of guys, like I've had a lot of great singers in the band, and they've all been good at what they did. But Carl's a very difficult guy to kind of emulate, you know. And Ronny really, I guess it's because he grew up with the music or whatever, but he, you know, he really has a way of making it feel like that old school sound again. And so between that and the chemistry that we're establishing now, you know, I really look forward to going in and see what the next record's going to be like.
And speaking of great singers and many singers that you had with you, what happened to Nick Cartney?
What happened to who?
Nick Cartney, your previous singer?
Who?
Your previous singer, the guy who sang on the last album?
Nick, yeah. I think, what happened to him? You know, I'm not really sure. I think he just kind of enjoyed staying at home more than going on the road. And sometimes musicians figure that out.
Mm-hmm. In 2020, the year of the plague, you released Celebration Decay. How did that album do under the circumstances?
You know, under the circumstances, it was great. And it was weird because that's the only album we've ever done that we didn't do one show to back it up. So in that regard, it was strange to not be able to tour on it. But at the same time, I don't really regret putting it out because we could have waited till this year or something, but I mean, it would have been so old to us by then. Just wouldn't have been fresh for us, you know? Mm-hmm. And at least at the time, if with no touring and no live gigs, at least we had a record out, you know, and there were people were talking about it and listening to it, and that kind of kept the dream alive during those years of downtime. So yeah, it was a strange time, man, for everybody, but I was lucky enough to get a record out.
Now, you've mentioned before that there are new songs being worked on. Introduce some of that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been writing and recording with a lot of different artists over the last few years, and a few different styles. And then, of course, once you do that, it also gets you in that mode to create, you know, everything. And so we got some really good material coming up for the next record. And we're just going to take our time and do it right. Right now, we're focusing on staying strong, staying healthy on this Atlantic Years tour, and then back into for the new album. Now it's going to be badass.
How is Ronny's presence in the band affecting the direction of the new material?
In a very positive way. Like, he's just a really classy guy, and turning out to be a good friend. I mean, it's really new. It's a very new chemistry. Even though he's been in the band since August, we could not be more spread out. Like, we're from San Francisco to Rhode Island to Portland, Oregon to Gothenburg, Sweden. I mean, we are spread out.
So you have like a Zoom rehearsals?
Yeah, like, we basically get ready on our own. get together, have 1 or 2 rehearsals, and start the tour. And that's how we do it. And but in this first week, I mean, it's just been great having him around. He's really helpful, and we're all working together like a team, and it feels fucking great. Larry and I were saying the other night, like, after all these years and the different lineups in Vicious Rumors, like, we got something real special right now with Robin and Ronny Munroe with us.
And how would you describe your relationship with Larry? I mean, you've been together since day one, pretty much.
Yeah, I was just yelling at him about 5 minutes ago. You know, Larry and I are, you know, we're brothers, man. We get along. Sometimes we don't get along. But when you're brothers, you know, you always come back. So it's incredible, man. He's been an incredible band member to have in the band, and he's my brother, and I'm very thankful to have him.
Recently, you played a show on a ship.
Yes.
Yes, tell me about that.
It was fantastic. We're kind of like a regular event on the 70,000 Tons of Metal. We played there 4 times, and we had just a great time. It was our first gig with the band, with the lineup, and just an incredible adventure always. That cruise is something special, and it was a great way to start the year. Yeah.
Finally, how is a band like Vicious Rumors able to survive so many years despite so many challenges?
Well, you know, I think it's just strictly fucking will and the love of the art, the passion of the lifestyle. And I mean, look at this, man. I mean, like this, it doesn't get any better than this, sitting in this cold fucking alleyway in Chicago, doing an interview with you after being on the road for 8 days with 5-6 weeks to go. You know, we love the action, man, and we've been lucky to have such a long run and be thankful to the fans who've supported us all these years. But it's all good, my friend. So there's nothing but a bright future ahead.
Thank you.